Hollywood, I'm Jeremy Parsons.
And I'm Janine Rubenstein. We are just a few hours away from the 93rd Academy Awards.
Woo!
I think that calls for some bubbly.
It does. I'm going to work on this. We'll see how this goes live. But tonight's, guys, the ceremony is going to honor, of course, the best performances in film from the past year. Get ready. Broadcasting from... several historic locations, including the Dolby Theater in the heart of Hollywood and Union Station in downtown LA. It's a big deal in those two different locations. We're keeping an eye on that carpet for any big arrivals. We've got our hand on the pulse. We've got the shot ready to go. See, there we go. Look at it. They're adjusting. Some people are rolling in, the whole thing. I'm pouring this. And
look at that dress.
Janine, yeah, what are you looking forward to most of the night tonight?
Oh, tonight, a fully live show, Jeremy. Like, no Zoom, no FaceTime, whatever's been going on, no glitches.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's going to be there at two different locations, right?
Two different locations, and 170 people or so, I think is what they've said, are in the audience. So still a little pared down, but like you said, the energy's going to be in the room. The energy's here already. Cheers to this tonight. There we go. That's all I can hear.
Oh, I like that.
I was going to say, one of the things I'm looking forward to most, a lot of people talking about the historic nature of tonight in terms of diversity. Also, Viola Davis, the queen. We love her so much.
Oh, my goodness.
4 nominations for her. She is currently the most nominated black actress ever. And so a big night for her, possibly, but she's already had a big moment just with that nomination and breaking records.
Huge night. And also, One Night in Miami. This is a film that is just stuck in my heart. I'm so excited about it. And, of course, Leslie Odom Jr. has had quite a busy awards season. We spoke to him right before the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which was just days after he welcomed his second child, a baby boy named Abel.
He just got all the life events going on. And even though award season this year has been mostly virtual, Leslie still had some time to make some incredible fashion choices.
Yes, he did.
We're talking about that ombre suit. Look at that. We were talking about that for days. We haven't stopped talking about it. We can't wait to see what he pulls off tonight. He's always got something good in store.
He's nominated for Best Original Song and Best Supporting Actor for his role in One Night in Miami, my film. And he told us how this film's recognition is a testament to its director, Regina King, my girl.
It's a good day. It's a good day. For Regina King's beautiful movie, One Night in Miami. Every accolade, any time that there's a win or acknowledgement for this movie, it is, I hope, an acknowledgement for Regina and for this beautiful movie. I hope that this drives people to Amazon to watch this movie.
Oh yeah, that's the sound of the man working on the chain. The game.
In this past year, this impossible year, movies have been a lifeline. Entertainment has been a lifeline. Great music, great series, limited series. I went back and watched The Sopranos top to bottom. And I've seen so many of the films nominated today and others that weren't nominated that inspired me, that reminded me of the things that I like best about this business and about this art form. It felt like there was a conversation happening between the pieces, I felt it watching it, it wasn't just it wasn't just the historical ones. It wasn't just Ma Rainey's and Judas and the Black Messiah and One Night in Miami. Some of these pieces literally shared characters. There were some people that were talked about in one or two of the movies. There was a conversation happening between the movies, but it's also in the 40-year-old version and Five Bloods. There seemed to be an expansion in cinema with these images of Black life, of Black humanity, and what we have made of ourselves here and what we have made of our time on this soil. I've been a professional actor now for about 2 decades, and it ain't all like One Night in Miami. It ain't all like Hamilton, believe me. So yeah, when it comes along, you must feel it. You must appreciate it in the moment, because it's here and then it's gone. It goes to somebody else. Next year, there'll be a whole other list of nominees.
But I know change gonna come.
I think that Regina is just beginning, in this weird, wonderful way. decades into a career with Regina King, it feels like we're at the beginning of a Regina King renaissance with Watchmen and Beale Street and One Night in Miami, her in the director's chair. And, so I think that we're going to get decades more of Regina King work, and she's sure to show up on this list again. But with the 3 nominations, you just cannot separate them from the vision of Regina King.
The Renaissance is upon us. One Night in Miami, nominated for 3 awards tonight. Regina King was just one of the powerful women featured on the cover of Entertainment Weekly's Oscars issue this year, along with writer-director of Nomadland, Chloé Zhao, and Viola Davis, who's up for her role in Netflix's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
The ladies spoke to EW about what the recognition for their films and their work means this year.
You have to practice, everything happens for a reason. Obviously, it would have been great for people to see it on the big screen, but I don't think people would have connected to the film the way they have if we haven't really gone through a collective apocalypse the way H.E.R felt at the beginning of the film.
We'll never know, but it's quite possible that if this had been released in the movie theater, first, we would not have a space that we were just living in for so long. This time was especially difficult because we were at a reckoning once again in our country, and because we were in the middle of a pandemic, the world was watching.
I feel that now that people are sort of hunkered down and are still, that they can really pay attention to it, really commit themselves to the story.
Was it what I would have imagined would have been the way my directorial debut would have debuted? Absolutely not. We been through the trenches with this film, with almost seeming like we weren't going to be able to finish it at one time because of the pandemic. And then to be here in this space, talking to you now, knowing all of the things that had taken place, I'm grateful.
Once I do a film, I'm sort of done. I walk away from it, I'm good, I go back to my life. I say that was a great experience, and that for me is the reward. But I think the good part of it is you get to talk about people of color who are in the center of a narrative. There are not enough words, not enough time to keep driving that home in a culture where there is an absolute absence of that. That's been the best part of it.
Well, the past year has been a really strange year, but I have been very lucky because I get to wake up in the morning and don't have the time to feel anxious about what is happening in the world because I have so many deadlines, and I've been working with people that I really love working with. So I consider myself very lucky.
I did expect Ma Rainey to have this level of awards journey because I was there, I saw, I conquered. Now, I say that, you don't always know that that's gonna happen because I sort of have had that feeling before when I did a movie called Get On Up. So you never know, right? But great work, in my opinion, is undeniable. When you're in the presence of it, it's undeniable.
We just all set out to tell a story that was honest to the feelings that Black people have in this country. Putting a mirror up to all of us as Americans to reflect how far we haven't come in 60 years. So that was our intention.
When I was making the film, we try not to think about any of it. It's like raising a baby and then you send them to school. You don't want to think about what happens ahead of time because it's scary.
And then your baby starts to go to school. So you're letting, your child out into the world, and, you want the child to be safe, and you want people to like your child, you want people to listen to your child, to hear your child, and so far those things have been happening. So it's been a gift. It's been a gift. There are so many films that I love from this season. I really like Rada Blank's 40-year-old version. I love Chloé Zhao's Nomadland. I thought it was a simple story, just beautifully shot and told.
If I have to pick one, I would say Judas and the Black Messiah by Shaka King. It's a really, really powerful film. It's emotionally complex. You can tell that he's poured his heart and soul onto the screen. There's like passion on every frame.
There's always a fear with predominantly Black narratives. You never know if the audience is going to understand it. You never know if the audience is going to be on board with going on a journey with so many Black characters when it's so culturally specific. I think that's why August wrote, too, is to say, okay, for the next hour and a half, I want you to sit with us and understand what makes us tick, what makes us complicated, what makes us the same as you, but also a little different. That's been my biggest sort of fear with Ma Rainey coming out. But I believe that it lands because there's something about him that speaks to humanity and what drives us as human beings, which is, in my opinion, worth and value, and understanding that and owning that.
I think this year's Golden Globes nominations, having 3 women, if this means more people like me get to, live their dreams of telling stories for a living, I think it's great.
It's exciting to be out at the same time with work that really is provocative, that really is speaking to stories that are prescient, if you will. The audience, the real people, and the critics have both embraced it. And, I think most times it's kind of either or. It's like, okay, this is good. Maybe this might be a call to action.
Just a powerhouse group. And one of the films up for Best Picture tonight is Minari. It has a total of 6 nominations, including one for South Korean actress Ye-Jung-yoon.
That's right. Her career spans over 5 decades, but she's one of 11 first-time acting nominees this evening. She shared with us how receiving that Best Supporting Actress nomination already feels like a win.
I didn't know how to react after I heard that they were saying my name. And my friends, came back from Vancouver, Canada, right after we arrived at home, maybe an hour later, was it? Hour later, because I'm not familiar with all the internet things. And she was watching that internet and she said, wow, you got nominated. And then she was bursting cry because she's my friend. and I was just felt numb and I don't know how to react. And then we just embraced each other. That's all we did. I don't like competition and I don't believe competition, especially comparing acting one to another. You cannot compare, it's not the mathematic, the right answer or something. I'm sure all the nominees played their best and brilliant job for their movie. So nominated means to me is that I already got the award.
데이비사, 너는 스트롱보이야. 할머니가 본 사람 중에서 제일 스트롱보이야.
할머니.
어?
피피는 무슨 맛이에요?
빵알놈이.
I've been in this business such a long time, and then first I got the information about him and his unexperienced 7-year-old boy. So, oh my goodness, I'm going to be miserable playing with him. But I was all wrong. First day when I met him, they suggested me meeting him before the shooting. So I said, no, I don't have to meet him because, it's better not to see him. But that for him is the first time in his life he's seeing grandmother. So I like to be real to him. Well, he was all well prepared, all the line. He memorized all the line. And if he throw the line for me and then if I react, and then he's like a sponge, he reacted with my line. So we didn't have any problem at all.
할머니는 진짜 할머니 같지 않아요.
할머니 같은 게 뭔데?
쿠키도 만들고 나쁜 말도 안 하고 남자 팬티도 안 입고.
그래? 그럼
하지마.
We became very good friends, each other. We very close, almost became a family, because there's not much enough money and not much enough time. We have to shoot 25 days, and the script was written in English by Isaac, and because that's his language, and mine is Korean. So we try to just translate in Korean, and with all of them together, it's like a speaking Korean. So we have to just get together and then try to discuss about the script. And my friend happened to be a good cook, so she was cooking for us. And then later on, because of the meal is very important. Isaac, Stephen, Yeri, everybody's coming to my house, my Airbnb house. So we almost ate almost every night. Then we were sharing life together. You know how Stephen's life while after he immigrated that country, and then we shared Yeri's life and my life. Naturally, it's on the table. Then later on, we discussed about the script. We became a family, real family.
Yeah, she has been so incredible to watch throughout award season.
Yes.
She's obviously very excited to be getting this kind of acknowledgement at this point in her career. She's a huge Korean actress, a very big star.
Like the Meryl Streep of Korea. Like
Yeah.
she is just, they said this is like the Olympics for her.
Yeah.
And everyone's watching, just rooting for her over there. So it's really great.
We'll see how tonight goes as well. Her Minari co-star, Stephen Yeun, is making history this year as the first Asian American to be nominated in the Best Lead Actor category. His heartfelt role as a father captured the attention of everyone in the industry this year.
Entertainment Weekly's David Canfield spoke to the actor about how the drama's warm reception may open the door for more diverse storytelling.
Obviously, one film does not change an industry, but given the reception to this movie, and particularly by American audiences of all stripes, how do you feel the response to a movie like this can impact Hollywood or change it or push it forward, especially this coming on the heels of Parasite's Oscar win earlier in 2020 before we shut down?
Yeah, I mean, I can't be sure. I can't be sure, but maybe my wish, or at least the moment that it services that I'm seeing is we spent a lot of time communicating to each other in the past about who we specifically are, maybe more on a surface level of how we might delineate who we are to each other from a cultural standpoint, from a visual standpoint, from understanding the food we eat, the way we look, the customs that we're used to. And those are all so important because those are offshoots of our core identities and our culture and our humanity. But sometimes I feel like the essentialized authenticity gets in the way of seeing how we are and who we are truly. Sometimes you're busy explaining to people what kimchi is instead of explaining to people like how you feel as a human being and why you make the choices that you make. With a story like this, that I feel like, we purposely try to not skip those things, but rather go so deeply into them that what you get at the end is a relatable story to anyone cross-culturally, that we might be able to see each other a little clearer, a little bit more human, and be able to understand that it looks a little different, but it pretty much kind of feels the same. It feels similar. I mean, we are human after all. And I know in some ways that's like a cliche. I mean, it's a cliche or it's corny, but it really is that. It really is like, if we are human, and all of us. And so I felt like, these times, hopefully this movie can bring people together. I think my wish is that it speaks upon the interconnectivity of all of us.
All right, let's talk about the front runner. The film with the most nominations tonight is David Fincher's Mank.
Yes.
The Netflix production about the story behind the iconic movie Citizen Kane during Hollywood's golden age.
Yeah, it's nominated for her role in Mank tonight, Amanda Seyfried. 17 years, can't believe it's been this long, since entering the movie industry with her scene-stealing role in Mean Girls.
Yes. Now she's up for Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of screen legend Marion Davies. Amanda spoke to us about her first Oscar nomination and how her accolades mean as much to her dad as they do to her.
It is kind of amazing that I'm sitting here as like a 35-year-old who's been in the business a long time, but also, you know, I don't work for it. It's not bait for me. So no movie I do is seen as a step to get an Oscar nomination. It's just a movie that's gonna give me immense fulfillment and joy and be a challenge and a learning experience. And I'd be doing something wrong if that weren't the case. I never pictured myself playing an old Hollywood movie star. People had said it. My dad would say, "Oh, it would be amazing if you could play so-and-so," or, you know, Betty Davis. It was never a goal of mine. I guess because I'm pretty realistic, I think. And I don't have many expectations, and I do have goals, but that just wasn't one of them. I didn't see myself being able to fit into that era.
I'm sorry, I know it's silly, but...
But what? Why not?
Promise you won't laugh.
I promise I won't laugh.
My exit.
What?
I already made my exit.
If I didn't know Gary and I was meeting him for the first time on this project, it would have added to the intimidation factor. And luckily that wasn't the case. I feel like he might have had a hand in me getting this role, or David considering me for it. And we play off each other really well. We trust each other. I feel very safe with him. I feel like he's not very judgmental at all. And he's very present and very giving and generous as an actor, but also as a human being. So all that groundwork was laid long before Mank ever came into our lives. And so that was kind of a miracle that we got to already have that foundation, and then feeling worthy of being on the same set, in the same scene as Gary. It just, you think that way a lot. You know, I consider that a lot, but then it's not helpful to him or to me or to the story. And so you just kind of have to one day just wake up and trust yourself that you were meant to play this role, and that you can rise to the occasion and meet Gary halfway, just like Mank is meeting Marion halfway. My dad is a lover of old movies. Every time I got a chance to have him come out to LA and take him to a lot and see the projection rooms and Warner Brothers and Sony and Universal Studios and Fox, it was just like a kid in a candy store watching this man who's just has such a passion for this era really come alive with questions for the people working there. And I always felt like I really giving back to my dad, you know, for raising me, and I, for whatever reason, maybe it's just Freud, but I really do, I get so much from his pride, and I want to share these wins with him.
What did I do that was so terrible? I guess I shouldn't have said that thing about the cabinet in front of Tugwell, but since when does anybody care what I have to say?
Is diversity key to longevity? You know, I've seen that in the careers of people that I've respected, and you got to keep people guessing. And I think it's important to be able to show the audience different sides of different characters. And as an actor, I want to play as many different characters as possible. And I like different genres, like genre skipping. It's like, what's the fun if you're constantly playing the same character? So if I had any goals, it was just to stick around and always be able to work on things that I wanted to do and have, you know, the more opportunities, the better. And sometimes you have to turn down certain things in order to play a better role or something beyond in a more interesting story, and or work with a director that you've always wanted to work with. It's just like you know, sometimes you're auditioning and you're fighting for something, and sometimes it's coming to you and you have to decide whether or not you want to do it. It's never the same. which is fun. You know, you go through phases in your career, and I've been going through ups and downs, and right now I'm on and up.
Man, she has come a long way since Mean Girls.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were talking about Mank, leading the nominations tonight. Mank's gotten a lot of love in award season in terms of nominations throughout, but hasn't pulled through with a ton of huge wins. I think Mank could be maybe the upset tonight with some of those categories.
It could be, and it's a film that the Oscars and the Academy love. It's a Hollywood film about Hollywood. So you have La La Land that won, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's in that family, so you could see it get some love.
We'll find out. We can't wait to see who will become Oscar winners tonight. You can tune in, of course, for all that action at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's all taking place on ABC.
But first, we've put together an all-star group of experts to predict who they think might walk away a winner tonight.
Now get those Oscar ballots out. Entertainment Weekly's Jared Hall, along with People's Entertainment Projects editor Mary Green, Entertainment Weekly's executive editor Clarissa Cruz, and Movies editor David Canfield gave us their predictions. Watch.
Well, thanks to all of you for being here. It's strange that with all of the delays in the last year that the big night is finally here, but I am certainly glad to be discussing some nominees with the three of you. So let's get to it. First up, actor in a leading role. The category is filled with some incredible performances, but I think we'd all agree it seems like the late Chadwick Boseman is locked to win for his powerhouse performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Mary, let's kick things off with you. Do you see this particular award going any other direction?
It's impossible to imagine. Also, throughout award season, Chadwick's widow has really given just incredible, heartfelt speeches. I think it'll be an emotional high point.
I mean, I think his death was sort of one of the collective experiences that we all had during quarantine. I mean, we were all around, we were all shocked, and I feel like at a time when there aren't that many collective group experiences, this is one that we all sort of shared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, David, let's get into some of the history that was made in this category. I'm thinking of Stephen Yeun and Riz Ahmed, both as the first Asian American Best Actor nominee and the first Muslim actor to be nominated in this category. Let's talk about the significance of that a bit.
Yeah, it's a groundbreaking year across the board for the Oscars, but this category particularly is represented by so many groups that have been historically ignored. And to see, lead actors, people taking the center stage in these films, getting this industry stamp of approval, is a moment for the industry really to move that forward and take this as an opportunity to continue to expand the kinds of performances and the kinds of actors that deserve to be recognized.
Before we move on, actor in a supporting role, another stacked category. Clarissa, two of the nominees are co-stars from Judas and the Black Messiah. Is there any chance they're going to cancel each other out, or do we think Daniel's going to win this one?
I don't think they're going to cancel each other out. I mean, they're both great in the movie. I'm not saying anything bad about Lakeith, but Daniel's performance was just so mesmerizing and hypnotic. It's just a full-on embodiment of that character, and you just can't stop watching him. I don't think that there's anyone that's really going to come close. I do think he is a lock for this one.
All right, let's take a look at actress in a leading role. Some really stellar performances here too. This category, I don't know. It's a bit of a head scratcher to me. But David, which actress do you think will be taking home the gold?
Today, I am predicting Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Viola Davis is a force in that movie, and she has never won a lead acting Oscar before, and she is an icon in this industry. So it may very well be her time to take that leading trophy.
Carey Mulligan was at the top of many people's list for a while, and she's kind of started sliding down a bit. But I think the industry also really loves her. It's crazy to think it was a decade ago that she was nominated for an Education. Is there any chance in those final weeks leading up that people are like, you know what, maybe we should give this performance maybe another look?
I would think the more people who see Promising Young Woman, the better her chances are.
Yeah.
It was one of the most surprising, delightful films, I thought.
Mary, I want to stick with you as we get into actress in a supporting role. Does one actress stand out to you as being guaranteed to win?
I don't think so, because we've actually seen different winners. Right now, I would say based on the BAFTAs, it would really be the Meryl Streep of South Korea, Yoo Jung from Minari.
And I want to talk about one more here. Clarissa, this performance, I think the movie would have failed on so many levels had Maria Bakalova not been so good in Borat. Could she surprise us here with a win?
Well, I do think this is one of those categories where it is still a bit open, and she did have some early heat in the race early on, so I wouldn't discount her. And also, so many people saw that movie and were just delighted by it, and I think that sort of reach is good for her.
I also think that the Academy could reward her with hazard pay just for the Rudy Giuliani scene. So, just saying, putting that out there.
I think votes are literally going to go for that reason.
Yeah, she deserves it. Totally deserves it.
Fair point. All right, let's talk about the biggest category of the night, Best Picture. Clarissa, this is another really strong group of films. A lot to choose from here. So which of the nominees do you think will get crowned Best Picture of the Year?
Well, Nomadland. I mean, I feel like not only has that train left, it has arrived, and it's just making room for its little statues in one of the cars. So I think it's just unstoppable, and I do think that's going to win Best Picture for sure.
Mm-hmm. David?
Yep, I think it's the furthest out front we have seen a movie before the Oscars in quite some time. It has won every precursor. It has behind it a director that Hollywood is ready to anoint in Chloé Zhao, and it is a beautiful, very reflective, melancholy film that has perfectly captured the tone of the times.
Mary, are you going to make it 3 for 3?
Absolutely. I'm going to jump on board that train. I also
the
think
van.
The real
van,
people
that's right.
were just like, bringing, actually casting the real life people, the real life nomads was perfect. And to get those kinds of performances from all of them really made the film magical.
All right, before we go, who are your dark horse picks for this year, or are there any surprise wins you're hoping to see?
If it weren't the year of Chadwick Boseman, I think that I would vote for Stephen Yeun. I thought his quiet performance and kind of steely almost in Minari was really, 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 really beautiful, and just
he made
brought
you
so
sit
much
up and pay attention.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not really flashy, but it just brought so much heart. And of course, because most of us know him from Walking Dead, it was a completely different kind of performance for him.
David, dark horse pick for you?
Yeah, I'm jumping on the Minari train. I think original screenplay, the favorite right now is Promising Young Woman, which I think would be a deserving winner. But I think Lee Isaac Chung's just exquisite semi-autobiographical script for Minari would be a beautiful, delightful winner in that category. Just to capture a family so realistically and specifically is not easy to do, and I think he did it really just perfectly.
Well, some categories we definitely have some locks, others we shall see, and I really appreciate hearing from all of you to help break it down.
There you go, fill out the ballot, hope you got them.
Yeah, well, don't want to derail that train, but love having them weigh in. Jeremy, who's one of your dark horse picks?
All right, dark horse picks. So I interviewed Andra Day just a couple weeks ago. I would love to see her win for many reasons. I love her talent, of course, how she, in Billie Holiday, United States vs. Billie Holiday, watch it if you haven't.
And she can sing.
She can sing. And honestly, the enthusiasm she has, I don't know if you remember when she won Globes Night, I believe, and it was just like the behind the scenes stuff she posted. Down on the floor, the whole family's going crazy.
Yes.
All here for it. So hopefully for her. What about you? Anything?
Oh my goodness. I guess I love Leslie Odom Jr. Not that he's a dark horse to win, but like I just, his performance was just so moving. So I'm going for that.
All right, we're going to move on now to this singer, H.E.R. Fresh off of 2 Grammy wins last month, now she's up for her very first Oscar, Best Original Song for her powerful anthem, Fight For You. That, of course, from Judas and the Black Messiah.
I spoke to her earlier this week about what it's been like to reach this incredible point in her career. First off, congrats. How are you feeling right now as you gear up for the show?
Thank you so much. I'm like crazy excited. I still can't believe it. I'm pinching myself every day. Like what's going on right now? But yeah, I'm really excited. It's a lot going on, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be here.
You're no novice to award shows, but you have 4 Grammy Awards.
Yes.
You're coming off of that win and going into this. I'm just wondering, thinking back, you started music at 6 years old. Was this in your wildest dreams, or have you superseded even that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if there was like okay, now, I'm going to do music. I think it's always been a part of who I am, and it's always been in my family, but I never imagined I would be in this position. I always hoped for it, but it's like you can never be prepared or expect all the things that come your way. And I've kind of just been taking it all in and kind of just like, okay. And at first, it was like, wow, is this really happening? And now it's like, okay, I'm here, take advantage, seize the moment. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that my gift and my music, it matters. It matters to people, and I'm giving a voice to the voiceless, and doing what I love every day.
Yeah. And so take me into A Fight for You. I mean, it's up for an Oscar. What was the creation process like for this song?
Oh man, when I got the call to be part of the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, I was like, of course I want to be part of this. And I didn't even really know the details of Fred Hampton's story until I watched the film. And I was like, I can't believe that I didn't know a lot of the story, and a lot of people know the details of it. It's not taught in schools, which is really sad, and it makes sense, and it's really sad. He was only 21 years old, so I was really inspired by his fight and all the things that he did, not only for the Black community, but for so many different communities. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it really changed the narrative of the Panthers for me, which is important because it's part of our blood. It's part of, who we are and the freedoms that we have now and the freedoms that we don't have now.
When you're thinking about, award season and the Oscars and all of that, like, what is your thought process on just the level of accolade and how fame has just came into your life in the way that it has? Like I said, you've been doing music for a long time, but does it still feel like a whirlwind?
Oh, yeah, it definitely feels like a whirlwind. It definitely feels like, and I'm always on to the next thing. I'm always, about elevation, but I've accomplished so much more. It's like a whole career's worth of, of things. And I'm just like, this is crazy. And the accolades are just, the icing on the cake. It's really the process that I'm in love with. It's leading up to the award shows. It's being in the studio and creating this music, and then hearing the reaction from the people doing shows and creating the arrangements for live shows and doing some of these moments. I think those are the moments that count for me. And then when I receive the awards and the acknowledgement, it's like, okay, I did exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's what it feels like.
Do you still get nervous at all? Like if it's Oscars performance or something like, does anything still give you the butterflies?
Absolutely. I think nerves are always healthy because every moment for me matters. It all counts. It's not like, oh, we've been here before, we go. No, every time feels like the first time. So it's like when I'm trying to take advantage of it and seize the moment, there's a lot of anticipation.
I just can't thank you enough, and I'm excited for you for the Oscars.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
She's just always, like, the fashion is on point, her talent is on point, all of it. The film industry, guys, like many, has had to make a lot of adjustments during the pandemic. One movie getting recognition almost 2 years after its premiere is Sound of Metal. And, Janine, in a normal year, the film festival circuit happens, things start getting distribution deals, they kind of get picked up, released in theaters, and then find their way to the Oscars, but everything kind of got delayed this year.
All out of whack. But now, finally, it's up for 6 awards tonight. We spoke to the cast at the Toronto Film Festival back in 2019, as you were explaining, including Best Supporting Actor nominee Paul Raci and Best Actor nominee Riz Ahmed. Watch.
I feel like I learned a ton about myself doing this role, and I think that's in large part because of Darius's leadership and the safe space that he created for us to all be vulnerable and go to new places that maybe we hadn't gone to before. Working with Olivia always kind of forces you to be so honest and so present. Working with Chelsea in a deaf community really opened me up in a physical way as well.
Darius made me aware that he was practicing or learning for a very long time before they even started filming. So I knew he was doing well because I saw some of the footage of him practicing with Jeremy. So, but he did wonderful. And working with Riz was like a dream for me. To be honest with you, I'm a Chicago-born, stage actor. I've been doing it for 40 years. A day player in Hollywood. This is my first role, a big role like this for a movie. So what I learned about myself was tremendous. And working with Riz and Darius, just an amazing experience for me.
Here we go.
I hope the film speaks a universal language. I really hope the film is a film that absolutely anybody can watch from any culture or any community, and it's a movie for humans. And I really wanted this experience to be not one that was, you know, putting on airs or trying to be this, that, or the other thing, but actually just speaking the language that goes way beyond labels, the labels of, am I a drummer, am I a singer, am I a guitarist, am I deaf? It isn't any of those things. It's what's behind those parts of our identity, the human behind them, and I think we see into humans all over the movie. And so I really hope people watch this and feel that they're a part of it, that it's speaking to them as a human being and as part of the condition that we all share.
I would like to add, please, it's very important to remind us, you know, to not keep the deaf community as an afterthought. You know, we need to be incorporated from the beginning, whether it be in the script development, and to have the community and the representation involved from day one, and that authenticity, and not as an afterthought. That's key, and that was a great part of this film. Just to have, I think it's a good model moving forward to show future productions. And the deaf community created a tone, so the movie carried that.
Search. Throat. Ditch. Fish. Talk. Ring.
Brum. Something that my ASL instructor, Jeremy, who's also in the film, told me is that, I don't know, you can I don't know if you think this is true, but like, apparently a lot of deaf people say that hearing people are emotionally repressed, right? Because we hide behind words. Because the idea is we hide behind words, right? Whereas when you express yourself with your whole body, then it's just a much more expressive, honest, visceral experience. And so learning to express myself in sign language really opened me up emotionally in an unexpected and powerful way. And so I'm grateful for that gift. Yeah.
Just topping it off here, keeping it going. Oscar night, even it's a little weird because it's still a little muted, but it's going to be an in-person show, and we're excited for it. And we're going to be excited.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And out of all of this year's Best Picture nominees, the film with the highest domestic gross is Promising Young Woman.
Yeah,
this means people actually went out and saw this, right? They went and sat in a theater, possibly.
To some degree, yeah, for sure. And it's that's a good thing about this year as well. You can stream pretty much every one of these movies as well. It's been just over a decade since Carey Mulligan's Oscar-nominated Breakthrough. That was in An Education. Now the British actress is up for another acclaimed performance here.
Well known primarily for her work in dramas, Carey told us how she approaches all of the characters she plays and how she worked with director Emerald Fennell to better understand the role of Cassie.
You know, I like to play parts where on the page I sort of can't quite figure them out. And then you sort of do a bit of digging and you've realize something about somebody, and then it sort of makes everything fall into place a bit. So it's kind of like that with Cassie. Like, why is she not just the events that happen, but like, what is it that's driving all of this? It's not anger, it's not revenge, it's actually from a place of love. You know, it's about that best friend that you often have when you're a teenage girl who's sort of the center of your universe, and imagining what would you really do if somebody hurt that person. And so, you know, once we've sort of understood and had figured out between the two of us what Nina and Cassie's relationship was before this all happened, then the kind of whole film kind of fell into place for us a little bit. We all were a bit bummed out when it ended, but it was, the whole thing was like a constant kind of, every day was different. There was like different amazing actor coming in every day. There was, you know, it was just, and it was going from like full romantic comedy to like revenge movie to thriller to, you know, so every day was like a different adjustment. And so, yeah, I mean, the whole thing was quite exhilarating.
So you don't remember the accusations made against Al Monroe? I don't. He took a girl, the one you don't remember, back to his room where he had sex with her repeatedly.
Was it reported?
Yes.
Do you know who Nina spoke to?
You.
I like the fact that the film makes us kind of re-examine. It's not just pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, look, naughty men." You know, it's sort of how are we all. I mean, it's a little bit of that, but you know, it's like how have we all, you know, how have we all been complicit in this, and how have we all kind of slightly let those things wash over us and become ingrained in us, where we don't sort of bat an eyelid at a girl being like, you know, abused. Essentially, it's like all of this stuff is just flipping the lens and going like, well, what does that actually look like? There's so much to unpack about the way people talk about these kind of topics and talk about consent. I think, you know, it really will be like I think it'll be a cultural thing that makes the shift ultimately, because it shows like Fleabag and I May Destroy You, and like these are the things that I think ultimately will that kids will watch, like young adults will watch, and that will be what kind of moves the dial a bit.
Would you roll your eyes behind her back and dismiss the whole thing as drama?
If you have a reputation for sleeping around, then maybe people aren't going to believe you when you say something's happened. It's crying wolf.
You thought it was crying wolf?
At the end of the day, we're telling a story. There are elements of it that are very serious and need to be handled delicately, but for the rest of it, you know, it's a comedy, and it's also, you know, Emerald and I think one of the reasons we get on so well is we both believe that our job should be ultimately fun, and that we get to tell stories for a living, and I get to dress up and pretend, and that's essentially the job of a 5-year-old. So, you know, it shouldn't be a stressful place where people behave, you know, like they're brain surgeons. Like, we're storytellers. It's a fun job. I think I've made a really good policy to not work with anybody that is not really nice, which is nice. Not that I've had very many bad experiences, but, you know, it's just nice to be, it's a sort of privilege to be in a position where you think like, I'm going to work with people who are just lovely. And that's all I really care about. I just want to work with people who are really nice and will make it a fun experience. And, you know, we'll sort of, I think, you know, it is an artistic endeavor, and I do take my job really seriously, but I also feel like, come on, we get to play. There shouldn't be any negativity around it. So I've really enjoyed getting to that place. And also just, yeah, I think it's just, it's nice to sort of be able to wait for the right thing, and like waiting for something like Promising Young Woman to come along, and has been really, yeah, it's a nice position to be in.
All right, and another woman joining Carey in the Best Actress category tonight, none other than Andra Day, who I was talking about a little bit ago, and of course she's doing that United States versus Billie Holiday. We were talking some about this.
Yeah, I love her whole arc, right? She was discovered in a mall. She was like busking, performing, and she caught the attention of Stevie Wonder's wife.
Yeah.
And she's like, honey, this girl is amazing.
Listen to this, yeah.
You have to hear this. And then we get Rise Up, that huge song that blew up years ago.
And the thing that I love about her as well in terms of this role, there's a parallel. Diana Ross played this before. It was kind of a big moment in Diana Ross's career.
The Blues.
That's right. She was Oscar nominated for that. Now Andra, this huge movie moment for her as someone who's also established in music. So I love those parallels as well.
Yeah, and she's already made a splash in the music world, of course, as a Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter. But her role in the United States versus Billie Holiday has made her just an acting force, Jeremy.
Absolutely. She already has a Golden Globe win this year. I got a chance to speak with her about how it feels to be fully embraced by Hollywood. Andra Day, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
I got to tell you, I'm late to the game. My wife and I just watched the movie last night. You are just you're so good. And I'm so happy for you. I've been following you through award season. And I was just wondering, I was thinking about like how it must feel to be you, that your name is forever changed no matter what happens on Oscar night. Your full name will always be Academy Award nominee Andra Day. And that's got to feel good.
Right. It feels like I didn't put as much work in as a doctor in order to do that. And I'm scared. No. I am, it's a blessing. You know, I feel very grateful, and thank you. I'm glad you guys had a chance to watch the movie. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to God, and that's always a constant. I'm so grateful to Lee, you know, to Sue Parks, Johan Hari, Tasha Smith, Tom Jones, to my whole cast, my co-star. I am so grateful to Billie Holiday. Oh my God, this experience was probably, outside of my niece and nephew, was the greatest of my life, which makes it amazing and really challenging at the same time. You know, I'm like moving on. So, and I'm grateful to this community of actors and filmmakers who have inspired me for so long and and how they've embraced me and been so beautiful and supportive in this space. I've not felt an ounce of that sort of competition or whatever.
I wondered, especially during this COVID situation, you know, you're not able to interact with people as much as you would in a normal award season, but how the reception has been from the Hollywood community, and maybe if it's at all different from the music industry that you'd be more used to.
You know, I just felt fully embraced, really embraced by everyone, you know. And actually, interestingly enough, more embraced by some people in the music industry on the heels of this movie as well, too, you know, that have been really supportive because, you know, we forget she lives in both of those worlds. This is a film, but it's a film about the greatest jazz singer that's ever lived, you know, the mother of jazz, really. So she's in both of those worlds. She is in music and she is in, you know, cinema as well, you know, film and TV. So I think that people who wanted to know more about Billie Holiday in the music world reached out to me and said they felt like they got to know her more intimately through this performance in a way that they've always wanted to. And they didn't know how. And so yeah, it's, and you know, and that's, I can't really sit here and be like, it's me, you know, that's what she brings to the table. She is that enamoring force. And I think, and that to me, I give glory to God and to her and to everybody who was a part of the process, you know.
You're going up against the great Viola Davis at the Oscars, or you're in, you know, you're in there. I don't know if up against, but let's
I know.
say
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you for flipping that because I'm like, not against.
Not up against, you're in the mix together.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'm not in competition with these women. We're just sharing this space. We are representing multiple stories and we are loving on each other. I'm celebrating them, rooting for them. They celebrate, from what I felt, they're celebrating and rooting for me. So being with Viola in this space, though, especially being the first time 2 Black women have been nominated since Diana Ross and Cicely Tyson, it's amazing. It feels a little overwhelming. I feel a little like, you know, it's like being in the room looking over and being like, why the hell am I sitting next to Viola Davis? You know, but yeah, I don't know. I felt nothing but love and support, but of course it's overwhelming. She's, to me, a legend and an icon and a study in this craft. So yeah, it was a blessing.
Well deserved. Thank you so much. I'm out of time. I really appreciate it. Congrats.
Love her. And she just talked about also how she just broke all the way down for that role. I mean, cigarettes, drinking, like she got
physical transformation, got into the habits and the whole thing. Yeah.
All of it. Came out on the other side. This has been a breakout year for somebody else, too. Maria Bakalova, the Bulgarian actress, nabbed her first major English-speaking role in Borat's subsequent movie film and received a nomination for her work in every major film award this year.
She's phenomenal in this. The first time Oscar nominee up for Best Supporting Actress, and she spoke to us about how grateful she is to be nominated alongside Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, Amanda Seyfried, and of course, H.E.R.
Being recognized alongside these names of people that have such a huge body of work like Olivia Colman and Glenn Close, it's just unbelievable. Second of all, I'm happy and proud that the Academy are supporting diversity in cinema, in the Western cinema, because being an Eastern European and knowing all of these incredibly talented Eastern Europeans, my fellow Bulgarians, and all of the people from my region of the world, with a lack of opportunities and not big of a representation on screen on the Western cinema. Having this right now, I want to bring more attention to these places in the world because something weird obviously happened after the World War II and the Cold War, I believe so. And there's not a big roles for people with that accent from these places. And having a character like Tuta, a multi-layered character that is not a villain, that is a positive thing in the movie, it's really inspiring. Maybe that's the first and the biggest gift, how many people are excited and how big their dreams are and how strong their hopes are that things are possible and things are happening and your dreams are valid no matter how huge they might be. So it's the biggest honor ever for me as an actor. I don't know, I'm still searching for the right way to express it because it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Okay, Lily, tell me that. Okay, Lily, tell me that. Lily, tell me that. Oh.
Hearing Oscars is just insane. I'm still like poking myself, Maria, are you dreaming? Is this actually happening? I mean, I've been watching the ceremony for the last 5, 6, 7 years on my small TV in Bulgaria. Sometimes even on my phone because through internet connection, because it's pretty late there when the Oscars usually are happening, probably around 2:30, 3 a.m. And now when this is happening, I'm beyond excited, thrilled that all of this inspiring talents, not only actors, but just filmmakers in general from all around the world will be there. And eventually I might be able to ask them a question, not like Tuta, but like Maria. And I don't know, I'm just thrilled. Also as well, I will have the opportunity to see Sasha, and I haven't seen him since October, and I miss him like crazy. So I'm extremely excited. And for God's sake, this is the Academy. This is probably the biggest dream for every actor, every artist, filmmaker. So it's a huge honor. My family have been the most supporting people of my life, but I'm not coming from a family that has artists in it. So up until this day, my mom's biggest dream was for me to be a journalist. When I was applying for the National Academy for Theatre and Film Arts, I applied for being a lawyer and being a journalist. I was accepted. But because the applications forms and the exams for NATFA are pretty later than these ones because it's the National Academy. And I was, if they accept me there, I'm gonna go and try to be an actress. And probably my father, because he's a man, he told that it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be tough because we're so many actors and we're such a small percentage that have the opportunity to work. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that no matter how hard you can train, no matter how intensely you might be prepared, you might never get the chance to work on something unless somebody believes in you and gives you this platform, this chance. For me, it was Sacha Baron Cohen, and I'm beyond grateful. But now that I don't know, I hope they're happy and excited that it's happening, that it's possible. Because for me, it was kind of challenging. Am I going to be able to even live, not starving and not having a roof over my head in some theater eventually, if there is a place where I can work? Because it is hard. Acting jobs are hard, and big part of it is just somebody there to believe in you.
That's another one of those that it's like, man, you can go back and watch it if you haven't seen it. We had Chloé Zhao there just now on the carpet.
Wow, Chloé Zhao.
Director of Nomadland.
Yeah.
Potentially breaking records and making history tonight as well. One of 2 female directors nominated in that category, which is also a historic first for the Academy.
Yeah, and for those stuck in the house, go watch Nomadland. It'll give you that outside feel that you've been missing.
Look, I'm telling you, I love Frances McDormand, incredible.
Yeah.
They actually utilized and went into some of these communities of people who actually do kind of live like nomads throughout the country.
No, they're actors. They're actual nomads.
Right. There's real authenticity to this. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I absolutely loved it. All right, Janine, final thoughts. We're almost out of time here. What we got?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just waiting on this live show, which is I'm not waiting for an award show. I'm waiting for a movie because that's how they're billing this. This is going to be a theatrical performance the way they put the awards together this year.
We mentioned this before. 170 people in the audience. They're going to apparently, we've heard they're going to kind of rotate out the audience in and out depending on what point of the show and the nominees and all of that. We're also going to have a star-studded lineup of presenters. We haven't really talked about this. Here we go. Some of last year's Oscar winners: Brad Pitt, Renee Zellweger, Joaquin Phoenix, Laura Dern. So some star power there, along with Halle Berry, Harrison Ford, Reese Witherspoon, Angela Bassett, Don Cheadle, Bryan Cranston, Regina King, down the list.
And they won't be in sweats, and they probably won't have masks on, so this is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, they're dressed up. It's like a real event that's finally happening here. And we said this as well, that the event is going to be at 2 different locations, which is a unique thing for the Oscars, usually just at that one location in Hollywood, so Dolby Theater, and then also at downtown LA at Union Station.
Yeah,
so
and there might be some London action, too. I'm hearing that they might have like a satellite for folks who are over there filming. So it's going to be very interesting.
It is going to be very interesting. And of course, after you watch that show, you get all the highlights, the red carpet highlights and everything else with us tomorrow on People, the TV show, as well as on your podcast.
Yes, People every day. Definitely tune in. We are going to break it all the way down.
By the way, loving the look tonight. We always talk fashion on these awards.
So tell me about the
I don't have the full breakdown. I got a little pinstripe here. Change it up a little bit, you know.
Velvet?
A little velvet tie. What do you got going?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's rented, but I do
Nothing wrong with that. Mine too. I don't know.
I need bright. I need like air, sunshine. Give me something. And
All right. Well, it's looking
I
good.
swiped right on this one. I just swiped right.
This has been a pleasure to count down to Oscars with you, Janine. Thank you guys so much for watching People in Entertainment Weekly's Red Carpet Live for Hollywood's biggest nights.
For sure. Now head over to ABC to see who earned film's biggest honors this year. Good night, everybody.
Let's cheers it out. Here we go. Woo, Oscars!
Yes!